My name is Nari Sol. I'm a pianist-composer, and I'm here at the Elbphilharmonie in the hidden piano storage room. I want to know how these pianos end up here because they start off as pieces of wood and metal. So let's find out together. We're now here at the Steinway factory, and here's Thomas, the piano technician of Steinway at the Elbphilharmonie, and he's gonna lead us around.
Here we are approaching the lumberyard. This building you see here is all filled with wood. This is whitewood. This is from North America. It's a very, very light wood, and we use it for the case of the concert grand, the lid, and this is first stored outside. This is natural drying.
What if it rains?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
No. And it's raining a lot in Hamburg.
This is the area where all of the wood used for pianos are dried before being processed. As soon as we entered, we were met with an intense smell of wood and endless stacks of all different types of wood. It's hard to imagine that all of this will be used as individual parts of a piano one day.
Here we have the wood, which is maybe the most important for the piano, is for the soundboard. It's Sitka spruce from North America. We need a wood which grows very slowly in a very rough climate, and the more slowly it grows, the more homogenic it will get.
It's a lot of wood.
Yeah. Everything starts here in this big hall.
When the wood is completely dry, the first step is to shape the long boards of the body. These are simply bent with force to be shaped into the distinct curve of the body. The process is called rim bending, and it really requires several strong people. There are different templates for the different models, and there's a unique process that enables the rims to be very thick.
The piano that will be on stage in Elbphilharmonie, it will take about 10 layers.
10 of these.
10 of these. Everything is glued in one piece.
The gluing procedure is really perfectly choreographed, consisting of a clear sequence of compressing and gluing the layers in multiple rounds. Once the wood has been bent around the template, it's fixed very tightly in this position. At this point, you can tell that this will be a piano just by the silhouette. This process was patented by Steinway in the 19th century and has hardly changed at all since then, which means that the shape of the pianos have stayed the same all of this time. By the way, these templates are a secret, one of many in this whole process that you're about to see.
From now on, it will stay in this form for 2.5 hours. You see these very long planks here. It will be the soundboard, most important piece of the Steinway. The craftsmen, they mark if there are any knot holes from the branches, for example, or any irregularities here, so they won't use this piece of wood.
This is enough to say, okay, we're not using this.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like a mess, but it's all very carefully selected soundboards, and this belongs to one soundboard.
This stack.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks so randomly packed and stored, but this is a lot of work already to get this together.
I see.
So this is warm glue. It's like the rest of the skin and bones of animals.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the glue with which the soundboard is glued together.
It has a very unique smell.
Yes. You like it?
While the soundboard is being completed, the sound bodies are also further processed after they've been finished bending.
The smooth edge here is a Hamburg Steinway, and the angular one is New York Steinway. Is that the best way to distinguish?
Yes. That's, you can tell from far. Yeah. So the best impression of how tall a grand piano for stage is, you can stand beside the piano and see.
I'm 5'5", 5'6".
This is the stage Model D.
Made in Hamburg, Germany.
An important part of the sound body is the cast iron plate, which stabilizes the overall structure of the grand piano and absorbs tension from the strings. The iron plate itself is the only part of the grand piano that does not resonate. The plates are actually gray, but most of them are painted gold. It's also incredible how the logo is actually hand-painted.
So far, we've seen many different stations at the factory, everything from wood, metals, all of the different parts, and still we haven't seen a piano in full form yet.
It's fascinating to see how much work is done by hand. Every instrument is unique and individual details are always adjusted specifically. Now that the soundboard and the cast iron plate are placed, the whole thing is getting to look more and more like a grand piano. And above all, we're getting closer to the strings and thus also to the sound.
Here we are at the point where the action and the keys are married to the body of the piano.
The action is a mechanical assembly that consists of pressing the keys, which creates a fast movement of the hammer, which produces the sound by striking the strings. Each key, meaning each note, has its own hammer. When a pianist plays the keys, these mechanics are responsible for how the touch and the weight of the keys will feel. For each piano, a total of around 7,500 components work together to create a harmonious and flawless tone quality. This only works if all keys are accurately fit and adjusted. The keyboards are not manufactured here. They're made in a special factory elsewhere and are delivered here in this form. The Steinway technicians regulate the hammerheads and install dampers. This regulation is one of the most time-consuming steps in grand and upright piano building and requires years of experience and absolute precision.
This is like the 600th step. There's so many steps.
Yes.
What happens when something goes wrong? Or is it foolproof?
Many things can go wrong, but everything is possible to make, reverse, and do it over again.
We will move on to the exterior finishes of the piano, which is perhaps the most recognizable part of the instrument. There are grand pianos in various stages all along the way throughout the factory. You can always see which stage the instrument is currently in on a small sign at the top.
And they are polished to the nth degree here in this department.
The rooms here are very loud and warm. You can almost taste the paint and the fine dust in the air created from the polishing process. This work is quite labor-intensive, and Thomas tells me that the people here start at the crack of dawn in the summers because it gets too warm by mid-morning to do the work here. The elaborate process, however, is worth it. The beautiful finish of a Steinway piano is truly unique and always shines brilliantly on stage. We were lucky enough to catch the process of the golden lettering on camera. The letters are actually applied onto the wood first, then lacquered over, and only revealed again during the polishing process. And now it's already time for the fine-tuning in the truest sense of the word.
You can hear from all the cabins, people are checking and playing and tuning and everything.
Every instrument that leaves the factory has to undergo final inspection, and here, a few pairs of ears listen carefully once again.
Do you feel that every piano has a different character?
Ich überlege mir jetzt nicht, wie groß der Unterschied ist oder so. Aber er ist natürlich da und er soll möglichst bleiben.
A very special room is the selection room, where a lineup of pianos are there for you to try each one and choose your pick.
Let me select one for myself, because I'm so rich. I could just...
It was quite shocking to see so many concert grand pianos in one room so close together.
Oh wow, they're already so different.
It's both a pianist's dream and a ridiculous one-of-a-kind situation to be in, to place so many different pianos in one space. Each one has a slightly different character and feel, and so to select a piano is a difficult and critical task.
It depends on the genre. If I'm playing That's crazy. I don't think I've ever seen a place with, how many? 15 Ds. So this is the room where Mitsuko Uchida selected the pianos for the Elbphilharmonie. So now let's go back to the hall and see which ones she ended up choosing.
In the piano storage room of the Elbphilharmonie, you can find several different grand pianos. Some are, for example, particularly good for chamber music or song accompaniment, while others are perfect for concerts in the grand hall. Often, pianists can choose directly on site which one they prefer.
So the piano has just been brought to the stage. How are pianos selected for the concerts?
Of course, many pianists come back once they have found their piano. Mainly, they will stick to it. This piano here was like the first choice of Mitsuko Uchida.
Is this the piano that's selected most often?
I think there are two pianos. This is one of the two, yes.
Before each concert, Thomas meticulously tunes the instrument once again. This is done only after the instrument has been transported to the stage, because the movement during transport could cause much of the fine tuning to be lost again. His work isn't just about adjusting the strings for tuning. He also checks the mechanics and everything else. And of course, there are always special requests from pianists time to time.
A few weeks ago, a pianist wanted me to lift up the hammers very, very close to the string so that in the rest position they were not very far from the string. So it made a very uncontrollable feeling. 95% of other pianists would have said, no, I won't play it like this.
Like this note is very bright.
Yeah.
So you will adjust this to...
Yes.
How much pressure do you feel in preparation for the concert, during the concert, because you are in charge of this instrument?
Well, most of the time I try to be relaxed because I know the pianos very well, and most of the time I also have worked with a pianist before. If you start working hectically, then everything will get worse.
So there you go. Thank you so much for watching this journey of the piano, from being scraps of metal and wood all the way to being here at the concert hall, ready to be performed. So now we're going to let Thomas do his work, do his magic. He's tuning, and in just a bit, this piano will be performed on in front of 2,000 people here at the Elbphilharmonie.